Hello everyone, this is Adriana Olteanu from WFM and you are currently listening to the WFM podcast. This is the voice of the workforce management professionals. My guest in this podcast is again a very experienced WFM colleague from the European region. As far as I know, she lives in Netherlands, however, she is Romanian, and my aim is to have a more technical discussion to get the benefit of her great experiences. So it is time to welcome to our special guest Adriana. Hi, Adriana. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Well, happy to be here and happy to hear you again. Thank you.
We are also really pleased to have you here. So we are going to have more technical topics in a bit. But before we do, of course, we would like to hear your background for our listeners.
Okay, so I'm WFM manager for forecasting capacity planning team in Groupon for 2 years and a half now. But my WFM journey started in 2015 in Conduent as a WFM planner for Groupon, with a small stop as a WFM analyst at GoDaddy, where I was RTA, reporting analyst, scheduler, planner, forecaster for multiple sites in the same time.
Wow, that sounds really amazing. So how did you involve in WFM in Condian and how do you like it?
Well, what I can say is that I end up working in WFM by mistake. After working in banking for 10 years, I decided that I needed a change. I wanted something that I really like, not just to sell money. My background is of mathematics physics, so I wanted something more real, let's say. So I sent my resume to HR Conduent, and they surprisingly contacted me to offer me 3 positions. And after the interview, they decided that I will be suitable for WFM planner. I had no idea what is WFM because in Romania it was very new, and the Conduent was the only one that was providing WFM services at that time. After my first day, I thought that I will never survive the probation period. But after 3 months, I was a scheduler for 4 projects and I was doing forecast and planning for 2 of them. So it was crazy. Do I enjoy it? No, I love it. I wake up in the
Wow.
morning thinking what kind of analysis should I do or how should I change my approach in specific situations. Making forecast and capacity planning for a company like Groupon, when everything changes very fast and we always try to do improvements, really keeps me alive.
I remember
So
these days very well. So
yeah.
I also remember you are really good forecaster. And when do you forecast? Is there any favorite technique that you would like to use for, short term, mid term, or the long term, and why?
No, I don't have a specific technique when I do forecast. I always base my forecast on what I'm forecasting, right? If I do short-term forecast, I start at channel level because we have a lot of promos, we have system outages, we have events, we have a lot of things that need to be taken into consideration. So we start from daily level. Then we are moving by channel type. So according with what is best for the country that I'm forecasting, for the channel that I'm forecasting, I'm considering in average 7 approaches. And I check which one is the best suitable for what I'm forecasting. If I'm forecasting merchant operation, if I'm forecasting content operation or frontline activities, I'm checking which of the 7 approaches is the best for me and I'm choosing that one. So I don't have a special one. I have 7 special approaches.
But which one from these 7 approaches does provide the better focus accuracy? Did you notice something like that?
Well, I did notice, for example, for the capacity forecast. For the 13 weeks in advance forecast, usually time series forecasting is the one that gives me the best forecast accuracy. On long-term forecast, seasonality and growth is the one that usually is what we choose considering the best forecast accuracy. We do monitor forecast accuracy for interval level, daily level,
Yeah,
weekly, 13 weeks, and yearly, right? So
yeah.
seeing this for capacity, yes, time series forecasting is the one that we usually choose.
This is also what I like actually. It's my favorite because when you have more data, its focus accuracy is getting better. Okay, so
Yeah.
as the second part of this question, have you ever noticed something specific among the regions? Because as far as I know, there are a lot of markets running in Groupon, and when you manage the forecast or the capacity planning for these several markets, did you ever notice something specific before and the post-pandemic?
Yes, of course, being global, we can easily identify the changes that appeared post-pandemic.
Mhm.
And we have seen that customer behavior in the Latin countries changed. This produced a change in the intraday distribution. Before pandemic, most of the people, our customers, were working in the office, and they were contacting us during the day in their breaks or during the week while they were going home or something. Now, working from home, we have seen that the volume for weekend increased. Like a normal Monday, we can see the
Really?
volume for Saturday, and we see the peak intervals extended. If, for example, for a market from Europe with Latin roots, let's say, we were seeing around 3 or 4 hours of peak. Now we see the peak intervals extended, and we need to change our requirements and the shift of our agents working to cover those peaks. So we need now to change our weekend rotation. We need to increase the staffing in weekend. So this really, let's say, had an effect after the pandemic.
Yeah.
But a good thing after pandemic, a lot of companies kept the persons to remain to work from home, and a lot of our agents are choosing to work from home. So the absenteeism reduced, and we have some
Yeah,
components
this is the
that
advantage.
almost reduced to zero. So we have more productive hours available.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Within a lot of changes before pandemic or post pandemic, and you use several approaches for forecasting. How you manage the documentation of all these details? Because you may miss any information that may affect your forecast in the future. So let's talk about it a little bit. How you manage these all details in document? Do you document these all changes? Probably yes,
Yes.
but how?
Yes, we do document. I try to keep everything written with my team together. In my team, everybody is split. I have forecasters for frontline. I have forecaster for content operation for MO. So this means each one of them is responsible for own the backyard, and we
Mhm.
gather information that can affect the pattern, that can affect the volume, and we track. We have a document where we track all the system issues for all the mainstreams. And based on those system issue, we are looking to see how they affect the volume, right? And we make an analysis. When this happened, this is what we expect in the volume. Then we have upcoming holidays. We do track and we make analysis of how the holidays or I don't know fairs or whatever happens to each market can affect the volumes. And we document. We have an analysis that we are moving it from one year to another, right? We don't make an analysis for Easter every year. We continue what we did last year, 2 years ago, and we document everything that we expected to happen and why it didn't happen, or if it happened, we expect to happen next year. We document. We have a tool that we created, is the promo impact.
Hmm.
We receive information from marketing regarding promotions, right? With what channel, where, what date, what we expect, and based on this, we look in past what happened and we document, right? We had a promo of 20% in this line of business, so we expect the volume to increase with 5% on that specific line of business. Therefore, if it comes on a Monday, the volume will be affected in a specific way. If the promo is on a Friday, the volume for weekend will be affected in a specific way. So we created this kind of what if scenarios for each time of promo, and we know when we have it, this is what happened in past. We document it, and now this is what we expect. We write everything down. I'm old, so everything needs to be written down.
Yeah, you of course you try to control the old figures as much as possible. Yeah,
Yes.
that sounds really great actually. So which part of this WFM cycle that you struggled before? I just wonder how did it affect your performance? I mean, because we may have some lesson learned. So can you provide some real-time samples for us during your career?
Oh, ho, ho. During my career, I've been involved in all the circle, WFM circle,
Yeah.
right? I was a reporting analyst, real-time analyst, scheduler, planner, forecaster. So I've been through all of them. And I struggled with all. As WFM industry in Romania is not that known and extended. So I had minimal informations and minimal trainings. So this means that I start to look online. I looked online for informations. I bought trainings for myself to do. Trainings that in
Wow.
time I transform it in trainings for my team. Then the WFM library. It's very good, big, and has a lot of information in it. And I can say that I'm on the group, on Telegram group every day, looking for something new.
WFM
Uh,
Telegram, right?
yes, yes. And I always ask if I have questions. I always ask. I have a very good network of professionals in WFM, and if I'm struggling with something, I always learn to ask.
Yeah.
So every time I'm struggling with something, I'm pretty sure that someone had the same situation at a
Yeah.
specific time, and I'm reaching out. What I learned is that in our industry, in WFM, you have to do tailoring. Not what worked for something, someone will work for you, but you need to adjust it according with your line of business. What you are using for the front line, it won't work for content operation because they are doing totally different things. So you need to do tailoring and adapt what you know on the situation.
I think this is the
So
main thing. Yeah,
yeah,
you're definitely right. This is the main thing that you cannot use the same approach that someone used before, but you can adjust the experience according to your requirements, right?
yes, always try to see it from where you need to go. This is how I do. Okay, I need to do a specific analysis, but what will be my outcome? So I'm going from the outcome to going back with the steps to find out what I'm missing. So pretty much this is my lesson learned.
Okay, cool, cool. So, do you have any suggestion to the WFM professionals to be successful in their career like you? Or do you have any specific advice that you would like to give our listeners who would like to have a WFM career in the future?
Well, when I'm recruiting someone, my first, let's say, requirement that that person needs to have is to be creative. Don't base your workload just on technical things, just on the data that you have. You need to be a little creative to understand the data from all points of view. And pretty much this is what I look. Look for creativity and base the workload, the forecasting on your experience as well.
Mhm.
My motto is forecasting is an art, and I
Mhm.
really see it.
Yeah,
The art has like 50% from the overall outcome, not just the values and the formulas.
yeah,
So be
yeah.
creative.
Yeah, definitely. This is something that each WFM professionals needs to have. Yeah, because while working with the numbers, figures, you need to feel the arriving patterns of the numbers. It is a kind of DNA of the each channel or each workload. This is a kind of art, and everything actually starts, my perspective, with the forecasting.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So I just also wonder, you manage the global WFM operations. So how do you manage the effect of the cultural difference? Because there are several locations, they cause the different numbers while calculating your, productivity, utilization, or shrinkage, HD that affects the productivity. So what is the best way working to write down or you make the documentation, but what happened also 2 years ago to consider these changes in your calculations. What is the effect of the cultural differences? What you notice?
Well, from my point of view, cultural differences affect all the metrics. But mostly, as you said, they affect the shrinkage. We do work with multiple locations all over the world. And what we are doing for us, the best practice, is to do forecast for each component of shrinkage. And here I'm talking about absenteeism. We do forecast each component, late, sick, everything that goes on that. Then holiday allotment, we calculate for each location in separate. Then the non-productive activities, we calculated for each location separately, each team, each location, each vendor, because we have public holiday. A public holiday, for example, a religious holiday, like 15th of August, can affect France in a way, can affect Italian in a way, and can affect Germany in the way. It's not a public holiday for Germany, but yet you can see that the volume are dropping in that days, and the shrinkage is increasing. Yeah. For the agents that are supporting that country. So we do consider separately, and we are going to the micro part of the shrinkage that will affect, and the volume itself. We have festival, religious holidays. We have raining season in some locations. Yeah. So because of this, we will have outages. So every single location has its own particularities that we try to document, try to find the impact, and to see how they will affect and when, right? Start of school. Yeah. Start of school can increase absenteeism in some location, but in some location can increase the attrition, because we have students that work with us during the summer and now they are starting school and leave us, right? So we make analysis and we add them in our requirement calculation. I started at Groupon in 2020 in March, exactly the start of pandemic.
Yeah. Nice time.
Yes, I actually went to the office just 1 week, and after that everything closed. So seeing myself in a new position, in a new situation, and with something new happening, I start to document all the shrinkage produced by COVID and what actions we took per location, per effect, right? The system outages because we moved the agents from the offices to work from home. And we start to document all the BCPs, everything that happened, in order to include them if another wave came. And we had another wave of COVID, and we document that as well, and another wave of COVID. So all this affected different parts of the world in different times, and we add them in our forecast. Another analysis that we did was the impact of the COVID cases all across the world and the channel. So we know in every single part of the world how the new wave of COVID will affect if it comes. So we go from micro to great when we are seeing the cultural impact over the volume, shrinkage, and everything.
That sounds nice. What is the situation compared to before? I mean, did you exclude the COVID impact right now, or let's say Groupon is ready for any kind of situation like COVID?
Well, what I learned after COVID is to see differently the values that we received from the last 2 years, right? We start going at micro, as I said, to check the reason code. Every value, every weekly value, daily value, for us, it's translated based on the reason. Why did we receive that contact? And we know the reason codes that are produced by COVID, and we try to eliminate them from our volumes. So first we take a look at the values. We eliminate whatever was produced by COVID, and we start fresh with the data that we do. Then we are looking for this year's values to see with what years from the last 6 years of data are matching, which one is keeping the same trend.
Really? Okay.
And this is how we understand what we can follow. Because COVID is still here, right? So we can still have another wave of COVID. We don't delete, we just exclude and try to identify this year. Maybe the customer kept the same trend as last year, right? Or 2 years away, because COVID didn't affect all the markets in the same place. So we analyze everything with 6 years. For example, now that we are seeing that the COVID cases are increasing, we started to work on a what if scenario for the peak season, to have a view of the what worse can happen in the peak season from shrinkage perspective, per location, per team, per line of business, and volume.
Yeah.
Just to be sure that, okay, now we are making a forecast excluding the impact of COVID. But what if we have another wave?
Or
How each
another
wave,
major event globally
yeah,
that may affect. So Groupon is ready for this kind of things, as far as I understand from WFM perspective.
from forecasting point of view, we always provide this kind of scenarios. We always try to see in advance. This is our job, right? We are forecasting.
Yeah.
We need to know what worse can happen. So
And of course, that has to do management to make the right decisions.
yes, we prepare the data and then let's see how it goes. From our point of view, we try to prepare. Let's see how
Yeah.
it goes. I hope that we will not have another
Yeah.
COVID case, but we
Hopefully.
have seen that from one wave to another, the impact was reducing. Let's say that we are starting to get in a way of normality, right? So if another COVID wave comes, not everyone will be that much affected like in 2020.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
are preparing the numbers.
Yeah. So this actually all have to do management to increase the customer satisfaction also from WFM perspective. But do you have any, real sample that you remember right now to increase the customer satisfaction?
Well, my job is to increase the customer satisfaction by delivering the right people with the right skill at the right time, right? My teams, I have a team of forecasting and one of capacity planning. They are actually the owners of this, right? We are the ones that say when to hire, how to hire, and what skills they need to do. So from my point of view, we try to be careful to request new hire classes in the 13 weeks in advance time. We have weekly meetings with HR and GLD in order to be sure that the classes are delivered at the correct time, and the agents that are coming are training on what we need. We
Let me
actually,
interrupt you here because I just
Mhm.
want to clarify that why the 13 weeks in advance is really important for you is because of, based on specific auditing methodology like COPC or something else.
Yes, COPC related and what actually can be delivered, right? Because we need to be sure that HR has time to recruit, the agents have time to leave their old jobs, and then to have time to be trained, right? The training, nesting. So in average, we are having around 13 weeks until we request and the agent is entering production. It can be lower this period, but at least we are flagging it with 13 weeks in advance.
So it also helps to increase the utilization or the efficiency of the operations, right?
Yes, of course. But on top of this, we have monthly meeting, bi-weekly meeting to review the capacity and to flag to operation when we need to hire,
So
right? So
do you have any collaboration with HR?
yes, we do have a weekly meeting when we discuss what we need. We really need to hire when, what is the status, how many agents we have in pipeline. We have a weekly meeting where we discuss. We get all the department involved, and we are trying to be on top of what is coming in our production.
These new hiring classes are based on the needs of the operations, like, frontliner or the back office activities. As far as I know, you do all of them, right? Not only.
Yeah. The new hires classes are requested based on the needed requirement, right? What we see, and yes, it covers everything that we have in our production centers: the front line, back office, merchant operation, content operation, back office activities, everything. It's in our scope of forecasting and capacity planning.
Back office activities forecasting is always a problematic because of less data. So what kind of protections that you are using to reach out to better forecast accuracy for back office activities? Because we don't have arrival patterns for
Yeah.
them, and there are different transactions as well. So how you
Yes.
increase your utilization?
Well, what I can say, it was a huge work done by operation, and honestly, they did a wonderful job. They created for us a master file with all the activities that are happening per team, with reports, with time in motion study, with time that they have to spend for a case, for an action. So we have a huge document with everything in it, and we started to factor in, for example, reports that need to be run in the morning, reports that need to be run on a Friday, reports that need to be run twice per month, right? So we started from the smallest activity that they have. A team can have like 10 activities, 10 things to do in one day. So we started from the small, and we created a requirement based on their workload that we receive from time and motion. They book their time. I'm handling this process from 9 to 10, right? So
Yeah.
based on that, we translated everything in an Excel, and we created a distribution curve for the workload, and that was our pattern to create the schedules for them. But we worked very close with operation, and they were wonderful. They delivered us everything that we needed.
That sounds great again. So after these several years of experience related to workforce management in different companies for the different regions, do you still enjoy workforce management, and why? I mean, also, let me also add that where do you foresee your career in a couple of years?
Well, yes, I really enjoy working in WFM because it's not boring. You
Agree.
always have to do something, an analysis of a new tool,
It is
right?
always a
Because
challenge.
yes, we always want to do improvements. In my team, in my history, work, or everywhere, I was in charge with doing improvements. So we always think of something new. Let's try something new. Impact of a new tool, a new channel, a new hoop, a new promotion. You always need to think of something. So from my point of view, it's not boring, and it really keeps you alive. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it gives you satisfaction when you look at the forecast accuracy and you see that you are still in the bandwidth, regardless that you have a new tool that it was just launched, right? Or a new channel. It
Yeah.
gives you the satisfaction, and it motivates you to do a little more. So yeah, do I still enjoy WFM? Yes. I try to work as a PMO at some point, and after, let's say, 9 months, I run to WFM, like this is what I have to do. So I love it. Where do I see myself in later? I do see myself still in WFM, still having my team, maybe teams, who knows? But WFM, it will be my retiring line of business from my point of view.
This, I mean, sounds very lovely to me as the one who has the same patience. Adriana, we are out of time. It's a pleasure for me to talk with you, and really, really big thanks for setting aside some time today and be our guest in this episode. Thank you for sharing your fantastic experience and the journey. Is there anything that you would like to add before ending our podcast?
Thank you for the opportunity that you gave me, and I would like to say everybody the same advice. Please continue to be creative. When we do forecast, we have machines, we have formulas, we have files, but the human interaction is the most important from my point of view. So let's don't forget this.
Yeah, be creative. This is our new motto.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Adriana.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to WFM. This podcast is made and produced by Adriana Olteanu, Bilge Hentelman, Doug Carstetten, Gonçalo Gomes, and Kim Paz. If you like this show, don't forget to share it with your friends and colleagues. Visit our website, wfm.com, to find more exclusive interviews and WFM content. See you next time. All rights reserved.